Hi everyone, my name is Valery Markin and welcome to the session Ask the Professor. Thanks for your questions. We've received a sufficient number of them, so I could make a selection. The course is almost finished and I know you are busy with the case right now, but still please have a time to look on this video and to look through the answers to your questions. Okay, let's start and go through the questions. Well, the first question is about requirements of availability and improving of maintenance techniques, improving the maintenance regime. The question sounds like this. How does ProRail stimulate the maintenance contractors to work even better on maintaining safety without simultaneously putting a too high pressure on them to always ensure high track availability? Well, basically, this question stipulates that putting high pressure on availability requirement wouldn't stimulate and wouldn't allow contractors to perform maintenance and to improve their maintenance, the maintaining safety of the track. Actually, it's not. Basically, these two requirements are not competitive. It depends how we define the availability. Well, basically, there are planned and unplanned disruptions. In the Netherlands, every contractor has planned disruptions, every 4 weeks. They have time on the weekend during which they allow, they can do performance, and they require it a year in advance. So it's also included in the timetable. So if they perform maintenance within this period, it does not affect availability. So availability, the required availability will be intact. On the other hand, if contractor doesn't do anything about improving the maintenance, then the chance that the track fails outside the planned disruption time is much higher. And in this case, we will have unplanned disruptions. And that unplanned disruption will negatively affect the availability. So basically, when the infrastructure provider require high availability and put this requirement high availability, then it stimulates and pushes the contractor to improve their maintenance, and so that the maintenance will be performed only in this planned disruption time, and so the chance of the unplanned disruption will be minimized. Well, the second question is very closely related to the previous one and related to the maintenance and availability. So the question is, how would you recommend a maintenance organization that now is using preventive and corrective maintenance to go towards more proactive, condition-based and predictive maintenance strategies? Well, actually, after this course, you must be able to answer this question yourself, and to be able to propose such an organization a way to transfer their maintenance strategies towards predictive maintenance. But anyway, of course there are many ways of doing this, but in any case, the first step in this direction must be to get information about the condition of the elements of the system that you want to maintain. And for that purpose, as you know already, you need some measurement techniques, you need some methods to predict long-term performance of these elements, and so forth. After that, the organization which is already doing preventive maintenance, try to optimize the use of the already allocated slots, maintenance slots. So to perform as many as maintenance of as many as elements as possible. For example, maybe even some elements which are not necessary to perform during the already the current slot, time slot, but to perform maintenance of this element in the next allocated slot, maintenance time slot, it will be already too late. So that's probably better to use it now, or based on some requirements or conditions regarding the availability of maintenance machines. Based on that purpose, you need to shift some maintenance activity to available time slots, right? And the next step, of course, is try to optimize the allocation of these slots in time. And that we come back to our requirements of availability, since we have already planned disruptions. So now we have to shift our planned disruptions, which will affect the availability. So now we have conflict. So in this case, we can increase the number of the planned disruptions. Of course, that must be done in close collaboration with infrastructure provider, or can be not or can be also and try to change the definition of the availability. This must be also a solution. So in any case, this process must be performed and done in close collaboration with infrastructure provider. The other question is regarding the interaction between infrastructure manager, infrastructure provider, and the users of the track, the operating company. So the question is how infrastructure manager should motivate the train operating companies to install condition monitoring systems on their trains to improve their maintenance process. Well, in fact, they should not, infrastructure manager should not motivate the operating companies. Actually, they have to work together because they have a common goal, to have less disruptions, and less disruptions will lead to less delays, and finally to passenger satisfaction, and also in case of the freight trains, customer satisfaction, that the goods are in time on their place. So in this case, there must be this common goal must unite these the infrastructure managers and operating companies together towards improving the maintenance, and therefore there should be no kind of refusion from the operating companies to install such an equipment unless this equipment will somehow affect the safety of the trains. So that must be the reason. In any ways, there are examples in the Netherlands of that, and NS, it's a main operating company in the Netherlands. For example, they're using a mobile system developed by Fugro, which is installed as a mobile system. It can be installed and easily removed from the train. Actually, in the front of, in the back of the train, it can be installed. And primarily, it was designed to control and to scan the track corridor and to see that there are no obstacles in the corridor. But at the same time, the system can also measure track geometry, and that information can be used for condition monitoring, for detection of the condition of the track. So there are examples of such collaboration, and but the data is not used by ProRail, for example, but in principle it can be used. And if ProRail infrastructure manager in the Netherlands will come up with a certain system, to my opinion, shouldn't be any refusion from NS to install this system on their trains. On the other hand, if there is not such a collaboration between them, then infrastructure manager could use some mechanism, for example, discounts in the track using charges. But again, since they have a common goal to reduce the number of disruptions and to improve the passenger satisfaction, so then they have to work together in this direction. Another question is quite interesting. So it's about the situation when the allocation period comes in conflict with some public activities. So the question is, what happens if in the time period allocated according to the predictive maintenance is not available? If the time period is not available, for example, if the track is needed for a certain public event, does the infrastructure manager disregard such a request? Well, in short, my opinion is yes, because the safety of the passengers is on the first place. So if there are some maintenance activities are planned according to any kind of maintenance scheme, so they go first, and all these other activities must use different type of public transportation mode. So this is short answer. No, the safety of passengers goes first. Another question is regarding maintenance of vehicles. Can you give an example of any optimization models of the maintenance of railway rolling stock, such as electrical multiple passenger units, EMUs, or electric locomotives? Well, in fact, no, I can't give any example of that. With respect to Dutch railways, the NS, that process is just started. At that moment, the trains are coming into the workshop with a certain period, and but when the train is at the workshop, there is already a list of the elements of the track, or elements, of the train, which must be maintained or replaced. So this mostly at this moment based on the maintenance instructions of the manufacturer. At this moment they are trying to install some sensors to get more information, the actual information about actual condition of these elements, so they can update it, adjust the list of the elements must be maintained, right? And so the final step is also to adjust and optimize the period when the train goes to the workshop. Of course, also in this case, this process will face similar problem similar to the track maintenance when they have the track availability. In this case, there is also train availability, because trains are also scheduled to be used in the timetable of the operating company. Right, this is all for this time. I ran out of the questions. So at this moment the course is finished, and now you are busy with the case. So good luck with that, and also good luck with implementing the knowledge you gain from this course in at your company or in your any of your activities in the future. And hopefully we will see you in our module D. Bye.